All right, everybody. Scott Pierce here at Listings to Leads. Welcome to the call. Happy Monday for everybody. Hope you are doing well. So let me know where you're coming in from. Go ahead and type into the comments that you are good to go, that you can see me, see my screen. And we are going to talk about how to turn up the temperature in your visibility and lead gen. All right. Is everybody good to go? Let's give it a few minutes here. People logging in. We are going to be covering how to start cooking your business, get that temperature raised from about 200 degrees to about 425 or 450, depending on how high you want to go. All right, so go ahead and type into the chat wherever you're coming in from. And got a client over here on text I'm talking to. All right. Awesome. Good to see more people coming on. One of the first things actually I'm going to do here, we're going to talk about obviously marketing a listing, yours or borrowed. I've always talked about marketing one listing a week minimum. I'm really telling you, you need to get to 2 to 3 listings a week. And there's a reason for that. I'm going to go through it. And again, part of that is the idea of making sure that we got enough visibility. All right. The beautiful thing about Listings to Leads is it's super easy to market with lead generation, with lead capture, with call to actions around everything. The problem is for most of you, you are just not getting enough out there. So we're going to be talking about that today. And before we get into it, I'm actually going to go to a client's ad account that I help manage. And just a couple of quick things here about running ads. And actually, I'll give you the links. I don't think enough people have seen our interviews on this. When you got an ad running, so you may have an ad running like I got right here. He's got a couple of ads you can see. And this one right here, look at that, 13 leads, $290 each. Right? He's following up 75 to 80% good phone numbers, making good contacts. I'll show you the interview with him a little bit later. I'll give you the link. We did an hour-long interview with the client right here. Phenomenal interview. You got to watch that interview. Fabulous. And so one of the things we talked about, and I want to make sure that you know, is when you've got an ad running that's running good, right? $290 a lead, good leads. Don't let that ad end. You can always extend a really well-performing ad. And so when I'm on this page here, if I click edit, because at $290 a lead, I want to keep that thing going. 422 next door to it right there. So right, real quickly here, I clicked on edit, and I'm just going to scroll down to budget. And I'm going to put some more money on this ad. And I'm going to extend out the date. I'm going to go 100, and I'm going to end it on next Monday. So extend it from the 25th to the 30th. Add another $50 because the budget initially said 50. Now it's 100. So the total, all right, the entire budget, will spend $100. And I'm just going to click update. And that way, instead of rerunning this after it ends, and maybe Facebook gets it showing to a different audience or a different group of people start seeing the ad because it's brand new. This seems to be on a really good audience with Facebook, right? Again, we're getting good leads. We're getting a great cost per lead. So let's just extend that ad out instead of letting it run off and die. Now, for this ad, we're going to let this ad continue. 422 is good. And then we're going to rerun this ad. And now this ad ended because it was an open house. So there was an open house on it. The open house ended on Saturday. So the ad will end after the open house automatically. So we're going to come over to listings. And we're just going to rerun it as a new ad. But again, we'll keep a small eye on it every couple of days, make sure that it's performing well. If an ad is not performing well, I got a video that walks through what to do in that case. So we're just going to come down here and find right there, 3550 Mike High Drive. Now, I am going to be going through the entire marketing of listings, new listings, open houses, but I do like to start off. And I did this last week. I think people seem to like it quite a bit, where I just show you what I do on a daily basis. Check my ads, continue ads that are running really well. If an ad is performing bad, I just turn it off and I rerun it. So here we're just going to run this ad as new for the week. And so we added 50 to the one. We're going to add 50 to this one. Now, normally, and I'll get to this more in our training, and I say this every week, you want to be spending between about 100 to 150 bucks a week on Facebook ads, typically for listings that are for sale. All right, I got a link I'm going to give you. It's got the 10 commandments. It'll walk you through how to do this. But essentially, we want to be get 2 to 3 listings a week. All right, $50 to 50 to 60 bucks each. So if you got 2 listings, that might look like 60 and 65 for 125. All right, it might be 3 listings where you go, 40, 40, 40, something like that. Now, last week we spent a little bit more because this week he's out of the office for a few days, and so we're spending a little bit less this week, only $100, but we preloaded last week. So anyways, normally we would spend a little bit more money, and we're just going to run this for the week and click create ad. And now we got 2 ads running. So we're going to spend $100 this week total. Again, that's a little bit less than normal. I like to spend between $125 to $150 a week in the Facebook ads. He's generating listings. He's getting buyers. All right. You'll see his post. In fact, I will give you the link to the interview. I'm going to drop this right into the chat. If you're watching this on a recording, go ahead and go to listingsleads.com/blog and you can use a search struggling with Facebook ads and follow-up. And it's got a couple of interviews, some information on how to take your Facebook ads from not performing badly, whatever it was doing, and how to just completely turn that around. So you're going to see on here, take a look at it later. There's 2 interviews with clients that are doing almost the same strategy, but differently. The good thing is they reinforce each other very, very well. Go ahead and take a look at these 2 comments from our client in the last few weeks. All right, talking about his results right here. And here's the interview with him. Fabulous interview. This is such a fun interview that we did. He gets into follow-up. He gets into people screaming at him. It's kind of funny. And then in the third video here is like a 6-minute video. I walk you through what are the things to avoid and how to fix bad ads and just how to make sure that when you're doing a Facebook ad that we don't want you wasting time or money. I want to make sure that when you do a Facebook ad, you're going to do it successfully. And we really set it up for you to be successful, but there are ways that people find to somehow take what we give you and, edit it, adjust it, whatever it is. And typically when people get too far into that kind of stuff, they reduce the effectiveness of the ads. And so if you can change as little as possible, and I'm going to talk through some of that today, but for later, this third video right here and the 10 commandments are things that you're going to want to make sure you take a look at. I'm going to leave this up here. We can refer to it a little bit later if we need to. But anyways, we got the ad live, or we got it submitted to Facebook. All right, they'll turn it on. So we extended an ad that was performing really well. And then we also started a new ad. So we got 2 ads running for him and spending $100 a week. Again, typically we like to go a little bit more than that, but he's out a little bit this week. We knew that ahead of time. So again, we preloaded last week a little bit more. So he had great follow-up, great phone calls. Again, 75 to 80% good numbers. All right, go ahead and type into the chat. Where are you coming in from? Who are you with? So let's give it a minute. Let everybody go ahead and type in there real quickly. I want to see where you're coming in from. And do you have a listing to market this week? It could be your listing, a listing that you borrow. It could be new construction. If you get new construction in your area, we talk about new construction a lot as well. But we want to make sure that we have got, I want to say, really 2 listings to market every single week. For a lot, here's the deal. For a lot of you, you're trying essentially to cook a dinner at way too low of a temperature in your oven. And then you're wondering why the food's not coming out well. You're wondering why your business maybe isn't really bringing in enough deals for you, right? Both buyers and sellers. And even if you are, let's take that to the next level in a way that's very cost effective and super easy to do. So what I want to make sure you do is we're going to go to listings. And I want, now if you need to borrow listings, talk to your broker in your office. You can add listings right here. So you click the green add listing button if you need to. We can grab a listing. This is so awesome. If you click grab listing, and if you put in the zip code and MLS ID number, either leave that checked if it's your listing. If it's not your listing, uncheck it. We will pull that listing into your account, everything, all the photos, everything we got for you ready to go. And it will drop right into your account just like this right here. If your listing's coming from a data feed, they're your listings, awesome. And then lastly, if you need, we've actually got a My Farm Dominator. Take a look at that. That also will pull listings into your account. And then manual. So if you got a listing presentation coming up, you want to add an expired, a FSBO, an off-market listing, coming soon listing, you can do that here. You can see here, when I got a listing presentation coming up, that's a different webinar training, obviously, but number of ways of adding those listings into your account. Because once you got a listing, yours or borrowed, in your account, all right, so I got it just listed right here. I'm gonna click on the green market listing button. I got all the tools ready to go. So as soon as that listing, I got the single property website, I got the landing page, the Facebook ad, and depending on the status I'm using, whether it's coming soon, just listed, active, or open house, it could be new construction. All right, all the tools are ready to go. So there's nothing I need to do. And then going forward, every time I change the status of the listing, all right, I've got a whole new set of marketing tools to, again, increase my visibility, get myself in front of more people, all right, generate more leads, get more people to follow up with. So it's the name of the game is making sure. So yeah, oh yeah, this is totally being recorded. So Julie, I would say, so Julie says she's got 1 listing. So I would say find another listing, right? Depending on what company you're with, it should be pretty easy typically. In fact, we were at an open house yesterday. It was a Remax listing, but a Coldwell Banker agent holding it open. So I give him a lot of credit. I'm like, dude, that's not even in your same office. Like the dude literally borrowed a listing from another agent from another company altogether. And I don't know if they're friends or however that came to be, but when you want to do something, you'll do it. So if you don't want to grow your business in a way that won't take 5 years and a lot of heartache and even more money and opportunity, then I'm going to suggest you find 2 listings to market every single week. All right. It's a repeatable, straightforward strategy that doesn't rely on tricks or hoops or anything else. It's just old fashioned. You put in the inputs, you're going to get the results. All right. We're going to walk you through how to do it. You're going to get 5 to 10 leads a day. You're going to love the follow up because now you're going to have more and more people to be calling. You're going to have more conversations. And within a few weeks, you're going to be thinking, how did I not do this a year ago? All right. Be careful doing that. That is not legal. Lee, what are you talking about? Yeah, Lee, I don't even know what you're talking about. Be careful doing what? Anytime you borrow a listing, you're going to do it with permission. You always borrow listings with permission. Yeah. I hope no one's thinking I'm sitting here telling you to do something illegal. Yeah. Always get permission. Now, if it's, some companies, you're just allowed to borrow the listing. And when you bring a listing in that's not yours with listings to leads, we will put, listing the broker by and all that kind of good stuff. Well, I don't know. I mean, Coldwell Banker ERA, it was a Coldwell Banker holding open a Remax listing. Julie says, I have permission to use other agents' listings as long as we state the listing agent. Exactly right. Yeah. So when you use that grab feature, let me just back up real quick here and I'll show you. When I use, even when I do manual, but grab is more common because you'll just drop in the zip code and the MLS ID. And when you uncheck that, so it's not your listing, and click grab, when we pull it in, we'll put, I can't remember exactly how it's phrased, but we put in the proper language around that. Listing courtesy of Scott Pierce at L2L Realty, right? However that is. And we put that in the ads, the post, it's on the single property website. So we put that everywhere. So don't worry, people have been doing this for years with listings to leads. So again, 2 listings, find one. All right. You think about, listings are really the inventory of a real estate agent. There are so many things that you can do with the listing that we'll be walking through here to put yourself in front of people in such a way as to get more people to talk to, because that is the name of the game. And if you're doing well already, what we want to do is we want to bring the cost per lead down. We want to make it easier to generate leads. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And for a lot of you, you want to generate some listings while you're at it. All right. You don't need to have a special, you don't have to have a special seller campaign when you do this, because when you market listings and you do a couple of open houses a month, you are going to start talking to more homeowners as well. All right. Open houses is the other thing I talk about to do, because it puts you into the market. It puts you in front of people. We got tools that allow you to market the open house to where you're going to meet more of the neighbors. You're going to get more seller leads from marketing the open house. And it's a repeatable, proven strategy that when you just start doing it, it starts working. So a couple of things before we get into the marketing. I want to, let's come back to the just listed. And again, I clicked on the green market listing button, but I'm going to click on edit just real briefly here to show you. You can do an open house. So here's where you can add your open house. If you got professional photos, if it's your listing, please add your professional photos. That'll look so beautiful on that full screen single property website like you see right here. So you can see here, I got a full video. I got my property description. Here are the photos right here. All right, go to full screen with the photos. Beautiful. All right, you saw my video above. I got a 3D tour right here. So here, let me show you. Right, here's my video. All right. And I added my 3D tour here under sections. And I've got my seller information right here. We want to make sure that the seller gets the tools that we got for the sellers. So those are just a couple of things I want to mention regarding your listing, because adding a video, you can even add community videos, right? You see on my single property website, if you got a YouTube channel and you do area videos, community videos, you do videos about how you help buyers or sellers, you can actually add those to your listings to lead single property website. So that instead of people having to go to YouTube to watch your videos, they can actually watch them, right? Imagine they come off an ad, they come off a post, they come off the seller e-flyer, they come off a Instagram reel, they get to your single property website, and they can start watching your other content, right? They can see your property video, they can see your 3D tour. So if you're doing all that kind of stuff, Good for you. Let's make sure you get it into listings leads. If you need any help with that, let our support team know. Should we have permission from form signed? Julie, I think that's a little dramatic. Typically, talk to your broker. Typically, you just ask, right? Email an agent. Hey, I see you got your listing over there. Could I market that to my audience? Right? And they're going to email back. Sure, great. And then that's your written permission. But if you need to, talk to your broker. Yep. And yes, well, if you're the selling agent, that's more for when it's pending or sold. And we talk about that in our Tuesday webinars. All right. So let's get to it. We click the green market listing button. Here is there's an overview. So view step-by-step guide. If you click that, that's going to take you to the overview. So you'll see there's a video overview and then a text overview. And I love the text overview here. It's as if we were sitting next to each other and I'm just walking you through. So you can see here, I mentioned about automating your follow-up. Make sure you get your CRM connected, right? All the lead notification emails will have phone scripts in them. And then we just get into all the different ways to market it. All right. And then here is the checklist. So download that checklist is a good thing to have handy. And as I mentioned earlier, as soon as that listing is added to your account, your listing, the listing you're going to borrow, think about advertising new construction listings if that's the thing in your area. And all I have to do is just work my way down this list. So you can see here, right? So Julie says, so are we creating all the ads? No, all the ads are created for you. You can see this right here. We bring Facebook into listings to leads. All you have to do is click that green create ad button and the ad is going to be created. And so a few options that you've got are location, which I don't want you changing. All right. Leave location alone. Just confirm it's the right location. The radius is 15 miles. Do not change this. All right. You're going to change it to 50 thinking you're going to get more leads. What happens is it kills the amount of views that the people are going to get in this area. So leave it at 15. Just trust me. All you need to do is increase the heat. So take that budget and figure out if I'm marketing 2 listings, then maybe I do 65 or 60. If I'm marketing 3 listings, maybe I do 40 or 50. I'm going to do $65 and it's for 1 week. Now, if I had an open house, I could change the ending date to the end of the open house. That makes sense. So the open house, let's say, is on Saturday. I can just say, end that ad on Saturday and let's end it at, I can use the little clock down there at the bottom and say, end that at 4:30, right? The open house is 2 to 5 or whatever. So end that right during the end, near the end of the open house. All right. Great ad, fully customizable, but the best ads for the best cost per lead, all right, good quality leads, you don't need to change anything. Do not feel compelled to change anything. It's going to be a Facebook lead ad. You'll get name, email, phone number, and the purchase time frame. So anywhere from just streaming to 1 to 3 months, 3 to 6, and so on. I would highly recommend that you get AI text follow-up engaged. If you have it with your CRM, great. If you don't, you can sign up for it with Listings to Leads. In fact, you'll see right here after you place the ad, there will be some information about the AI text. It qualifies about 10 to 11% of the leads that you get. And even the way to use it, and we talk about it in the interviews at the link I gave you a little bit earlier, but the AI text is phenomenal for a couple of reasons. One is it will let you know right away that it's a good cell phone number, because you'll get the first notification you get is, hey, you got a new lead and it's now engaged with the AI text. So perfect. I know it's a good phone number. I manage 3 accounts. Very rarely do we get bad phone numbers. I know people like to talk about bad phone numbers. Typically, your biggest problem for the bad phone number people Either you're going for a too old of a crowd, the crowd that has landlines in their Facebook page, uh, and or you're just not generating enough leads. So Facebook is not putting it into a good audience. You're always going to get some bad phone numbers. The problem is when you're only spending a few dollars a week and generating a few leads because you're not watching your cost per lead. So you're just very inefficient with how you're doing it and not doing it enough. It's more likely that the bad phone numbers are going to throw you. But we see 75 to 80% or more good phone numbers. So the AI text connects, right? The AI text is working. And then when you're able to follow up with that lead, let both the AI text and yourself follow up with that lead until you engage them. All right. One or two, one or the other will typically get that lead engaged at some point. And then once you do engage the lead personally, then you can turn the AI text off. And the beautiful thing is when the AI text qualifies the lead, because the AI text will engage the lead, ask if they want more information, find out what they're looking for, and just kind of go through some questions. And it's pretty impressive. And it'll follow like a logical kind of a train of conversation. What areas, what other areas are you interested in? What price range are you interested in? And then it'll be like, okay, great. That's enough information I have. When would be a good time for my team member to call you? And then they'll say something like anytime tomorrow or next week or whatever. All right. So someone just says, what platform would you recommend? What platform for what? Yeah, I don't really get it. What platform? Lee. Yeah, if you're in VA, so here's the thing. You're gonna have to increase your budget, because imagine if I take a gallon of water and I pour it into another bowl like this wide around. All right. It's gonna fill up that thing. If I pour that same gallon of water into a swimming pool in the backyard, it's going to be about that deep of water. Does that make sense? So when the water is deeper, well, that's more comfortable because now I can get into it and it's just easier to deal with. When I pour the water over too big of an area and now it's just like a little bit damp, you see the difference? And that is the same idea of increasing your radius if you do not increase your budget. Because now instead of X number of people seeing it right at plus 15, now you went to plus 50, there could be 2 to 3 more times people seeing it. So Lee, the only thing I would say is you got to make sure that you increase your budget, definitely, like to $100 minimum. Otherwise, I think you'll see bad. Try whatever you want to do, but if you see your cost per lead is higher than it should be, that's what you're going to have to look at. Yeah, and that can be kind of a little problem sometimes with like when you're in New York City. So just try to get it to as, do like, because man, plus 15 miles in New York, that's going to be, 10 million people. So that's, it's a little bit of a unique situation. But yeah, in general, don't change that plus 15, leave it alone. All right, get it up on social. All right, so I'm going to show you a couple more things on this. So we will post it to your socials automatically. All right, no problem. All right, Facebook, Instagram, X, LinkedIn, and Google. Highly recommend that you get all of that connected. It's just good to get it up there. I will show you what it looks like and how it works, because we're going to pull people right back to people click. So whichever platform, and they go right to the single property website. Now, I'm going to recommend, and when you click on the step-by-step guide in the overview area, we got a training on how to do stories and TikToks and reels where you got actual, so this is Instagram. So I'm on Instagram. All right. So let me bring myself back up. There we go. And if I go to open houses, for example, whether it's coming soon, just listed, active, or open house, notice I've got links. So I'm linking here to the single property website. And I'm going to drop the training for this because this is absolutely free. And then I got a poll, check that out, looking to buy a home in the next 12 months. So I've got a training how to do this that I'm going to share with you here in a minute. I want to just show you a couple of things here. Here's another listing. And again, this could be my listing, a borrowed listing, a new construction listing. What I am doing here is, so again, visibility. I'm marketing a listing. And here I've got a story and I got a picture of the kitchen. And notice I got a poll. Is this kitchen your vibe? This could even be an AI image, to be honest with you. It literally could be an AI image. Now, I would rather have a listing that I got permission to market so that I can, get a little bit more benefit from it. And then check this out. While a potential home buyer or somebody is looking at this property and dreaming about how beautiful that kitchen is, and why can't they have a kitchen this nice? And man, maybe they should either find a new place to move to where they can really love their life better. Notice this right here. Get the guide, 6 things to check before buying a home. Well, you got my attention with that kitchen. And now I click, and now I can go to a landing page where I can download a PDF guide right from you. Here's another story. All right, open house in Folsom. Here's a poll. And again, I'm linking right to the single property website, right? Linking to the ultimate guide to buying a home download. All right, so I'm going to give you the training for that. The other thing that you should be doing is making sure you're doing little videos. So make sure you got, a camera. If you got a gimbal, great. If not, that's fine. Use a tripod. Get your partner with you, whatever it is. Again, doesn't even have to be your listing. You can go to the broker tours, go to broker opens, go to open houses, ask the agent if you can do a quick video to send to your audience, all right? Your audience on social media. You can also send an email out to your database if you want to. But right now, you're going to find that there are more people that would love to have you do a video for them on their listing. So don't just, for the social media posting, don't just rely on, ours is totally fine, but I want you to take a look at this training right here because it's a little bit more fun, a little bit more engaging. And again, it's all about visibility. All right. Someone says, what's the advantage to market a pending listing? Well, the advantage is you generate seller leads, and we cover that in particular on Tuesdays. So for the link I just gave you, this is for just listed in particular. But if you scroll down, I want you to scroll down to right below social media to this section. You'll see these here, and you can click on them, and they will. Or so you can click up here to view those again. So just like we were looking at a minute ago. So those will take you, and you can take a look. But again, you can use images, you can use videos like I just showed you. And there's a little training on how to do that on Instagram. And there's another training on how to do that on TikTok. So it's totally free. It's a lot of fun. And it's a great way to engage your audience. All right. Next up, if it is your listing, this is one of the best tools out there. We got 2 tools for the seller. Sellers love these. And there's a quick phone call that so what we're going to do is send these to the seller. We're going to call the seller up. We got a proven little script that you're going to share with the seller, and they're going to be excited to use them. It's putting you in front of their audience, both on social media and email, in such a way that are going to get more clicks through to your single property website. And these can generate dozens of free leads. People get listings from these, they get buyers from them, because it's allowing the seller to promote and brag about you to their sphere of influence in a way that, again, is going to dramatically increase your visibility and some of the leads that you're going to generate. So to get this to the seller, there's green buttons in both of them. Right there, send a seller. Put in the seller's email address and salutation. So I've got Dear Lauren and Ian. Click send. You're about to send this. Great. So that's the social media post. And again, when the seller puts it on their Facebook page, it'll look just like this. People are going to click it. They're going to go to your single property website. It's awesome. And we're going to do the same thing for the e-flyer. Beautiful e-flyer showing off their property. We rotate the first 5 photos so it looks great. And, I can send a test email. I can edit this. I can send it to the seller. Again, their information will auto-populate, and just click the green send button. Now, you are going to be CC'd. Let me bring this over from my other monitor. Give me a second here. Let me refresh. Perfect. So you'll get 2 emails. Now, the email that you get will have your name up there. So it'll say, Dear Scott, Dear Lori, Dear John, and it'll let you know that it was sent to your seller. Your seller is going to think you sent it to them personally because it's going to come from your email. And here's what you do, right? You call the seller up. Here, let me show you the e-flyer, or I'm sorry, the version I get. So here's the version the agent gets because it has, again, their name on the top. All right, that's me letting me know that my sellers got this email. So I'm going to call up my client and I'm going to say, hey, Lauren, Scott here. Just want to let you know that we got the Facebook ad out. That should be live shortly. It's on Zillow. It's on Realtor.com. It's on our social media. We have a lot of other things that we're going to be doing to market your property. But I sent you a couple of things, something to share via social media, something to share via email, because in this crazy market, we want to make sure that we don't leave any stones unturned. And it's very likely you know somebody who knows somebody that would love to buy a place in the area. Easy conversation. If you frame it that way, the seller is going to absolutely love it. You don't need to tell me that your seller's not on Facebook. Pretty much everybody's on Facebook to some degree or another. And still just do it. If your seller doesn't do it or if they're not on Facebook, that's fine, but that's a minority. What I don't want you doing is telling yourself what the seller will or won't do. All right. Most sellers will absolutely do it. I've had too many great clients get so much benefit from that I hate to see you not take advantage of that fabulous tool. All right. Again, you're going to want to do quick little role play one more time there. When you get your copy and it lets you know that your seller got those 2 emails, you're going to call the seller up. Hey, Ian, Scott here. Just want to let you know, I sent you a couple of emails, something to share on social media, something to share via email. It is already on Zillow. It's on Realtor.com. I just got the ad submitted. That should be live soon, along with a lot of other great things we're doing. But I wanted to send you a couple of things to share because in this crazy market, we want to make sure we don't leave any stones unturned. And it's likely, people who would love to move to people who know people that would love to move to the area. And so if you can share that out, that would be phenomenal, right? And your seller's going to say, oh, I saw that. It looked really good. I wasn't quite sure what you wanted me to do with it. Boom. Now they know. Now they can put it on Facebook. Now their friends and family are going to see it. And when they do, what you should do is go like the post and leave a quick little comment. And that way, when their friends come in and say, oh man, that looks great. That looks fabulous. Just like their comment. And that way you're just going to start, again, increasing your visibility and one of the best audiences possible, your seller's audience. So, again, it's all about increasing the visibility that we have across as many audiences as possible. And that's exactly what we're doing here. And to continue that, one of the best audiences out there, or another, we should say the best, but another fabulous one is the neighbors of the listing. Now, if it's your listing, using the Nearby Homeowner tool will help you get more listings. If you don't have a listing right now, or you've already used the tool for a current listing, another great application for this is if you're going to do an open house. And obviously, if it's your listing, then perfect. But if you don't have a listing and you want to generate seller leads, doing an open house, find a listing that you can do an open house with. Join us at 5 o'clock tonight. We do the open house training. It's going to be fabulous tonight. All right. It's going to be an awesome training call tonight. Just go to listeningtoleads.com/blog. You'll see our training calendar right near the top. But you can use the nearby homeowner letter for an open house, even if it's not your listing, because you can still invite the neighbors to the open house you're holding. So, but if it is your listing, get this letter. This is amazing to door knock with. You could mail it. All right. Let me come back to it and let me show you a couple of things here. It does sit in an editor. So I can come in here and edit this if I need to. Coming soon, just listed, active, even open house. Very rarely do you need to edit it. But if I wanted to, for example, maybe I would say, well, for just listed, I wouldn't even. But like for open, let's just say this is open house. You could say, I want to let you know that we are having a catered open house at. Now, if you're having an open house, that'll already populate. But the idea of adding in, for example, catered open house. So, or we're having a catered neighbor only preview. So a lot of great ways of editing that we discussed during our open house training. But get this letter to the neighbors. You can mail it. If you're going to mail it, the only thing is, and you might want to write this down, you want to make sure that the envelope looks like it was handwritten. So if I'm going to mail a letter, this is, oh my gosh. Let's go ahead over here. Right under your affiliate link, you'll see this success stories right there. So your affiliate link is right here. So even if you're in an office account, I think you can use that affiliate link. But success stories, you're going to see right here. Check this out. 13th listing. So this guy right here, he uses that letter when the listing is just listed and when it's just sold. Other clients do it at pending and just sold. Some clients do it at open house and just sold. But if you can use that letter once or twice over the course of the listing, you are going to get more and more seller leads. It's an amazing tool. Again, you can door knock with it. It's fabulous to door knock. If you door knock, print up 100 of them and you knock on the door, take 2 or 3 steps back so you're not too in their face. And when they open the door, it's so easy, right? Hi, my name is Scott Pierce with LDL Realty, and we're having an open house, or 5530 Douglas just listed for sale. And I wanted to give you some information about it because it's just right around the corner. And when the home is sold, all the home values in the area will change. And that's going to open up. I've gone door knocking with clients, and it's a great conversation starter. It's a great way to have a reason for people to accept that you're at their door without thinking you're like just there to sell them. And so the conversations that can start from that are actually pretty darn good. Our mail blast additional, can you retarget email or mail blast? Well, yeah, if you're going to mail it, you got to pay for it. So you're going to want to use the 3 vendors I know of for being able to do a handwritten font letter for mailing. Zaire Mail, ZAIRmail.com, Mailbox Power, and I believe Thanks.io. All right. So yeah, get this letter. I don't care if you mail it. Some people print it at their office and stuff the envelopes themselves. Some people send it to Zaire Mail or Mailbox Power or Thanks.io. Some people will door knock with it. We also do have postcards and door hangers. So these will all match to your branding, your colors, even your font. Look at that, beautiful. Just listed. Here's the back of it. So we got standard, jumbo, EDDM, a couple of versions right there. We got door hangers. Door hangers could be fabulous. All right, let me show you the door hanger. Is the email blast additional? Yeah, I don't know what you mean by additional. Oh, why did that come over there? That was weird. There we go. All right, beautiful door hanger and postcard. All right, both of them generate leads. They make you look like $1,000,000. Now you don't need to obviously use a letter and door hanger and postcard. You're going to pick just one of them. All right, we've got a circle prospecting script. So if you've got the phone numbers and if you're into doing circle prospecting, definitely this is a great script to use because, again, similar to door knocking and making sure that you got a reason to be at the door. We don't want to be door knocking some random stuff. We want to door knock something that's super relevant to them. So by using the nearby homeowner letter to door knock, it's just a fabulous way to get more conversations going with homeowners in the area. Now, if you're going to do that, if you pulled a list and you went against, scrubbed it against the DNC and you got all the phone numbers, go ahead and call, right? It's a great script. Again, we're just letting them know about the listing right near them. Maybe it's an open house. Maybe it's just listed. Maybe it's coming soon. But to be able to connect with homeowners around that new listing is a fabulous way to get more seller leads. So I can't really recommend it enough. I think it's an investment into the marketing. And if you've already got a subscription with like My Plus Leads, well, then go ahead and leverage that. Let's make sure we get our money's worth. Now, next up is the eFlyer. Now we got a couple of versions of the eFlyer. This is the one for your listing. And remember, I said I want you to be marketing 2, right? Some of you maybe 3, but at least 2 listings a week. And you can't do this for both listings. We do have something called an all listings email, which I'll show you. But for now, this is the email for a unique listing, i.e., a single listing. So you can see here, we got the beautiful little slideshow. And again, when this home is sold, it'll affect your home's value. So we want to get this to our database. And then we got a call script that we're going to call through some of those leads in our database. This is meant more for those cold leads that you haven't been able to get a hold of them yet. You haven't been able to get them on the phone or respond to a text message. So this can be just another thing, another kind of point of contact to make sure they don't forget about you. So just give you a reason to call them. So let's send this to our database first. So I can either send it now through Listings to Leads, or I can click copy code and send it through my CRM. So if I want to send it through Listings to Leads, I can just click the green Send Now button, select who I want to send it to, and click Send. And that will send that email to all of my leads. Now, I know I didn't show this, but let me just show it to you as make sure we don't forget. When people click the eFlyer, they're going to go to the single property website automatically. There's nothing you need to do. All you need to do is click send and send it out to your database or your leads in Listings to Leads. And then I'm going to show you how to do Follow Up Boss in a second, but real quickly, if you scroll down the eFlyer for your database, the next part here goes to what is your home worth landing page. Beautiful, right? People can type in their home value, and there was nothing you needed to do except send it. But as far as the link and the image, so if one of our buyers loves your home, what price did you sell it for? I would sell it for $850,000. All right, name, email, phone number. I get the home value estimate. You get the lead. So to send this eFlyer through your database, there's a little copy code button up here on the top right. Right. Again, I click that. Copy code, copy with signature, copy for FUB. Just pick which version you need. I use Follow Up Boss. So you can do KV Core, you can do Gmail, you can do whatever you want. So for Follow Up Boss, I'm just going to click. Once you've done it once with your CRM, you'll just see how easy that is. All right, just boom, bada bing. Perfect. I can bring that down a little bit, make it easier for you to see. And send that to my database. And since this is just list, I'll say just listed in Folsom. All right, and get that out to all of my people in Follow Up Boss. But again, don't forget to call through your database. Now, for the leads that you're generating that are your newer leads, this is not something I would call them with, right? You got your standard follow-up for that. This is really more for those kind of those medium to longer term leads you haven't touched base with, that you need a reason to call them up because you just haven't talked to them in over a year. And whether you want to leave a voicemail or not, that's up to you. Everybody's got an opinion on what's the best way of handling that. Some coaches say don't leave a voicemail. Some say do leave a voicemail. I say just leave a really quick abbreviated version, right? So I would, if I was calling somebody and if I got them on the phone, well, then I'm just going to go through it and have a conversation with them. I'm not trying to spit it out. I'm not trying to, speed race through this when I get them on the phone. I just want to be able to start off with like Adrian, right? So Adrian answers the phone. I would say, hey, Adrian, Scott here with LDL Realty. And I want to let you know that 5530 Douglas Boulevard just listed for sale. I send an email to the single property website and I just want to make sure you got it. Like that's all you got to do, because then they're going to be either like, no, I'm busy and hang up on you, or stop bothering me, right? Whatever. That's great. Or they might say, oh, I didn't get that. Or, yeah, I saw that. And if they're at all interested in doing something, buying or selling or whatever it's going to be, you're going to be able to have a conversation with them. And that might be the same voicemail I leave as well. Like if I get their voicemail, in the beginning, I'm not going to leave a voicemail. So when the leads are brand new, but man, once they're more of the medium and I haven't talked to them in a while, I might totally leave a quick voicemail. Again, I'm not going to try to get through the entire script in a voicemail, but I do want them to hear my voice. I want them to hear whatever it is I'm referring to. So in this case, again, if I get your voicemail, I might say, hey, Lee, Scott here at the LDL Realty. Want to let you know that 5530 Douglas Boulevard just listed for sale. I sent you an email. Want to make sure you got that. If you have any questions, let me know. Super short, super sweet. I'm not rambling. I'm not wasting their time, right? They may just delete it before they read it or listen to it. They may read the text summary, all right? And again, they just, part of the follow-up, right? Even with cold leads, you never know when that cold lead is going to reach back out. I hear it all the time from our clients, I generated a lead in 2020 and, I never talked to them. And I dropped an email, I dropped a voicemail, they saw an ad, they saw a post, but it was not, I was sitting there doing nothing and they reached out to me. Right? That is normally not the story I hear. I don't hear, oh, I didn't do anything for 2 weeks and my leads were calling me. No, it's because you did something, an ad, a post, a video, a voicemail, an email, right? And when you do it consistently, you're going to catch people at the right time more often. And so that's exactly what this is. We're just trying to make sure we're staying in front of these people. So again, this is not meant for your hot leads, your recent leads, those leads that just came in the last few weeks. This would be more for those those leads 3+ months old. Short form video script. All right, take this video script. This is an awesome video script. All right, hey everybody in Folsom. So we got the script on the right. And so the idea is just letting everybody know about the listing for sale in Folsom. If you subscribe to if you got our text service activated, it's a great thing to put right there, because that way they can easily, if they're on their phone, if they want to get more information, they can send a text, give a little 2 to 3 sentences about the property, and then let those homeowners know, right? When this home is sold, it will affect nearby home values. And then we're going to offer them to get their updated home value estimate now. They can go to, and so my account, I've got california.freehomevalues.net to get your updated home value estimate now, or just DM or comment below. And when you saw how we did the Instagram stories on the training earlier, for the pending and sold, especially, we some of the polling that we got and the links, the link will go to a home value landing page. So you could include that in here. In fact, here, let me show you. And this could be a video. This could be images. So here, pending and sold. Here's a just sold story. In fact, let me find one here. Yeah, there we go. So just sold in Folsom. And look at that, free home value estimate here. And you could do this with a video as well, right? I'm showing you an image here, but that can be a video as well. So yeah, the short form video scripts, make sure you're doing that. All right, we reviewed the single property websites a little bit earlier. There's a full screen version and then there's a standard version. You can play with some of the different options right here. We got the open house sign-in form. So if you got an open house coming up now, actually, one thing I do want to make sure, if it's your listing, at least once a week, I hear something from somebody like, oh yeah, I can't believe more people don't do this, because it works. Get the status writer on top of your yard sign. You can do a short about putting it on there. I've seen people do that. So get this on top of the yard sign, and you should have it for every status. All right, I've got all of them: for sale, coming soon, open house. I got sale pending. Right, here's open house. And I want to make sure, because this is a great way to get that yard sign looked at, because imagine when you change the status from when you first get the listing, you should have just listed or even coming soon if it's not yet listed, be appropriate. Then it goes from just listed, maybe you do an open house. And now I'm going to put the open house right there. And then it goes from open house to just standard for sale. And then it goes from standard for sale to sale pending. And so as we're changing the status of these on top of the yard sign, we're getting more people looking at it. And we combine that with these sign writers on the bottom, you're going to get more people. All right. You're going to get more leads. People are going to text. And the last part of this whole thing is the listing flyers. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but you want to make sure that you got listing flyers on your yard sign if it is your listing. Now, if it's not your listing, obviously you won't do this. But if it is your listing, and the beautiful thing is about this is once I got that flyer box, I only have to go like maybe once a week, drop off 10 flyers in the flyer box. Maybe the first week is a little bit more. People are not going to steal them. All right. It's just a great way to get leads. All right. The neighbors are walking by, people that missed your open house drive by, people that are interested in the neighborhood are driving by and they see, oh, wow, that's for sale. And then they pull the car over. Maybe they send a text. Maybe they grab a listing flyer, but it is a fabulous, cheap way to generate leads. Because once I got this sign writer, that text code, right, the 10001, that will stay with my account. So I can get the sign writer built and then rotate it from listing to listing to listing. Super easy, very straightforward. Maybe what, 20 to 30 bucks for this. And then, like I said, I can move from listing to listing. So this will last for a couple of years. And you'll find if you actually do that, these are some of the cheapest and best quality leads that you're going to generate. All right. The sign writer leads are just fabulous, fabulous leads, because those are people that, they scanned it, they sent a text, they grabbed the listing flyer, right? They took an action that's a little bit different than normal. And for example, if they send a text, well, I get their phone number right away. They go to the single property website, we got the lead capture there. So yeah, so many great ways to use that yard sign in a way that will help you stand out to the neighbors. All right. I want the neighbors to look at me as somebody that is doing things that other people don't do. right? So if you want to have your beautiful face on the yard sign, I don't care about all that stuff. What I want to make sure is you're using something like this, because your 10-digit number on your phone, on your sign writers, don't get calls. Nobody ever calls that 10-digit number on your sign writer. Has anybody ever had somebody do that? Have any of you ever had somebody call you from your yard sign? Not very typical. This will definitely get more leads. All right. So we have pretty much covered everything. You got blog posts. There are a few other random tools down here. Traffic reports, set that up to go to the seller if you're the listing agent. Right? Craigslist. If anybody's still doing Craigslist, right? QR code for your listing. That'll take people to the property website. All right. So any questions? All right. Well, listen, everybody, thank you for joining us. Vitaly, sorry, I didn't see your question a little bit earlier. When I create a Facebook ad, does it automatically post on other social media? Well, if it's an ad, no, just Facebook and Instagram. When you do the social media post, yes. Just, I would say get with support if you need to on that. And they can help you out if needed. All right. Yes, if I've got a listing that just sold, we'll be doing that in tomorrow's webinar. So if I got a recently sold listing as either the listing or selling agent, definitely I'm going to market that. That's a great way to generate seller leads. Fabulous way. All right, everybody, listen, thank you so much for joining us. We'll talk to you soon.